Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are back this time for our weekly edition of the SEC basketball power rankings. So, as you know, like last week, we went them down. We went with Arkansas in the one spot, Tennessee two, Alabama three, Kentucky four, Missouri five, Mississippi State six, LSU seven, Auburn eight, Ole Miss nine, Georgia 10, A&M 11, Florida 12, 13 was South Carolina, 14 is Vanderbilt. Had some shakeups since then. We saw LSU get a huge win against Arkansas. We saw Missouri get an absolute huge win over Kentucky, kind of a blowout win that I don't think a lot of us saw coming. Maybe you, Jeff Griggs. But I think that we saw some shakeup. So obviously, we're going to try to do this every week. We're going to try to come out with our, weekly power rankings the same day the AP comes out. So the AP comes out this week, and you still have five teams in the AP top 25. You have Alabama at seven. Actually, Tennessee and Alabama flipped. So you have Alabama at seven. They valued their win over Mississippi State a little more than they valued Tennessee's win over Ole Miss. Understandably so. So you got Alabama at seven, Tennessee at eight, Arkansas at 13, Missouri jumping in the top 25, being at 20, and Auburn at 22. LSU just outside of the top 25. I think that if they, I think they deserve to be in the top 25, but so far, not happening. So we have Florida scored three. Oh, not in basketball. They scored more than three. They lost by three to Auburn. So I do think LSU should be ranked. But as far as the power rankings go, kind of put the order out there that we had Arkansas at one. I had Arkansas at one. So obviously with their loss, I think that there was some shakeup in the power rankings, some pretty substantial shakeups. I actually have Tennessee at one. Had them at two last week. They didn't lose. Didn't look great in the Ole Miss win, but anytime you go on the road and you get a road win in the SEC, I think those are high value. So I took that. So I got Tennessee at one, Alabama at two, and LSU. I have them at three. I think that was a huge win. For them, it was a statement win. A lot had been made, a lot had been said, even by me, that they hadn't had any quality wins. So for them to get that home win against Arkansas was huge. Missouri at four, I think a huge win against Kentucky. I know Kentucky's reeling right now, but anytime Kentucky comes in your building and you can get a win, that's a big win, especially for Missouri. So that's back-to-back huge wins, one over Illinois, one over Kentucky. I got Arkansas at five. Close game against LSU, could have went either way. Didn't think Arkansas played very well. Had a lot of missed opportunities, a lot of missed shots, but you lose, you got to drop. So they go from one to five. And then I got Mississippi State actually at six ahead of Auburn. And the reason being is I keep saying it. Auburn, I know they're still in the AP top 25. I know they only have two losses. I've watched them play several times this year. I'm just not convinced so far that they're that good. So I have them actually at seven. So we recap that top seven. We got Tennessee at one, Alabama at two, LSU at three, Missouri at four, Arkansas at five, Mississippi State at six, Auburn at seven. And I know for the Kentucky fans that are listening, Chloe, Bill, whoever else is listening, I actually do have Kentucky at eight. I think that's no secret that had them in the top four last week because I just thought they would come out of the funk, thought they would hit some shots. Obviously, they get a win over Louisville. I think that Louisville is really, really bad, but did get a win. So I think that Kentucky has a chance to get back into SEC play and right some wrongs here. But right now, it's just hard for me to trust them, and it's definitely hard for me to put them over any of the other teams ahead of them. So Kentucky at eight. I got Ole Miss at nine. Good showing. I thought they mucked it up a little bit against Tennessee. Played really well defensively. Couldn't hit enough shots to really to win the game. And I thought that obviously, Santiago Vescovi made all the difference in the world for Tennessee. So having those, that older team and Tennessee still dealing with injuries with Josiah Jordan James being out. For 10, I went with Georgia. In the bottom four really didn't switch up a whole lot. It goes Georgia, Florida, A&M, South Carolina, and Vanderbilt. South Carolina and Vanderbilt, neither one of them started SEC play. The other ones have played one. And ironically, they play each other, so they get to fight for the 13th and the 14th spot. But just need to see a little bit out of one of them. I think that obviously we talked about it last week on the show that with Vanderbilt, the difference is they came into this season with some expectation that they would possibly be a bubble team coming off of an NIT, appearance. So for me, I think the Stackhouse has a lot to prove. He's the one that just got the extension. He's the one that just got the raise. And with so many first-year head coaches in the SEC, at LSU, at Missouri, at Mississippi State, and those guys winning, I think that the pressure is on Jerry Stackhouse definitely to get in there and get some wins and prove something, and I just haven't seen it so far. So we're going to recap that thing, 1 to 14. Tennessee won, Alabama 2, LSU 3, Missouri 4, Arkansas 5, Mississippi State 6, Auburn at 7, Kentucky at 8, Ole Miss at 9, Georgia's at 10, Florida's at 11, A&M at 12, South Carolina at 13, Vanderbilt at 14. So that's our weekly power rankings here on the SEC Focus podcast. Again, top 25 comes out, 5 teams in the top 25. But just to recap the top 25, not just SEC teams. Obviously, Purdue, they're at the number 1 spot. They got 60 of the 61 first place votes. Then you go Houston at 2, Kansas at 3, UConn at 4, Arizona 5, Texas 6. Ooh, that's a story right there. Texas, I tell you what, with Chris Beard. Alabama at 7, Tennessee at 8, Gonzaga at 9, UCLA 10, Virginia 11, Miami 12, Arkansas 13, Wisconsin 14, Indiana 15, Duke at 16, TCU at 17, Xavier 18, Baylor 19, Missouri at 20, New Mexico 21, Auburn at 22. College of Charleston has just ended a huge, long drought. They're back in the top 25 at 23, Ohio State at 24, Iowa State at 25, and just outside of the top 25. So Iowa State had 94 points. LSU's 26th, I guess, with 83, and then San Diego State, and then Mississippi State and Kentucky, all just right there outside the top 25. So we, kind of said it when the season started. I thought that the league, the SEC, could get 7, maybe 8. Still see that happening. I think we need to see some teams play better. Kentucky, Auburn, but I still think that we're looking at a 7, 8 bid league, and who knows, maybe we can sneak in a 9th one if Ole Miss can continue the way they played against Tennessee. I think there'll be a dogfight every night. But that's all we got for this week. Just wanted to come on, do our weekly power rankings. Let me know what you think in the comments, and we'll be back next week to do it again for SEC Jeezy and the SEC Focus podcast and Facebook page. I'm out.